The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2, in conjunction with Colfax High School, presents Viking pregame. A look at today's Colfax Vikings boys game. And now, Viking pregame.
Good evening and welcome to the NLWN2 studios. Rick Olson here, and tonight the 11-11 Colfax Vikings, who are 5-8 in the Dunn St. Croix Conference, will step out of conference play as they tune up for the WIAA Regionals by taking on the Division II Wausau East Lumberjacks, who are 3-8 in the Wisconsin Valley Conference and 7-15 overall. The Vikings are coming off of a defense-dominated 42-35 win over the Elmwood Plum City Wolves on Friday night, while the Lumberjacks are coming off an 83-75 loss at the hands of the Lakeland Thunderbirds on Thursday night. Now, coming up in this edition of Viking Pregame, we'll take a look at tonight's matchup between the Lumberjacks and the Vikings. Then we'll get Coach Noel's perspective on tonight's game in Coach's Corner. Following that, our broadcast crew will bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's game. So it's time to get ready for some exciting high school boys basketball. All that coming up right after this brief timeout. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame, where we're getting ready to bring you all the action of tonight's non-conference battle between the Division II Wausau East Lumberjacks, who are 7-15 overall and 3-8 in the Wisconsin Valley Conference, against the Division IV Colfax Vikings, who currently sit at 5-8 in the Dunn St. Croix Conference and 11-11 overall. The Vikings are coming off a physical, defense-dominated 42-35 win over the Elmwood Plum City Wolves on Friday night. Now, in that game, the Vikings and the Wolves seesawed back and forth until the Vikings pulled ahead midway through the second half and gradually took control. Colfax was led in scoring by 6'4" senior Jack Charlo, who hit on 4 field goals and went 3 for 6 from the free throw line for 11 points. He was followed by 6'3" senior Nick Jensen, who nailed 4 field goals, including a 3-pointer, and went 1 for 2 from the charity stripe for 10 points. Meanwhile, 5'9" junior Elijah Ensminger added another 8 points on 3 field goals and 2 free throws. So far on the season, leading the way in scoring for the Vikings is Charlo, who's putting up nearly 16 points per game, along with Ensminger, who's averaging 15.5 points, and Jensen, who's chipping in another 8. Leading rebounders for the Vikings are Charlo, who's averaging around 10 per game, and Jensen, who's pulling down around 6. Now, the Wausau East Lumberjacks come into tonight's game with a 7-15 overall record and are 3-8 in the Wisconsin Valley Conference following their 83-75 loss at the hands of the Lakewood Thunderbirds on Thursday night. Now, don't let their 7-15 record fool you. The Lumberjacks have had a season much like the Vikings, where they've played some very tough opponents only to lose by very slim margins. Look for Wausau East to be led in scoring by 6'1" sophomore Jesse Nebjizik, who's shooting 51% from the floor and 39% from three-point land, as he averages nearly 16 points per game. He's followed by 5'11" sophomore Jaden Garrett, who adds over 10 points per game. Meanwhile, 5'6" sophomore Charlie Cayley is chipping in over 9 points per game. On the boards, the Lumberjacks are led by Charlie and Jack Cayley, who combine by pulling down 12 boards per game. Now, so far on the season, the Lumberjacks are scoring at a 66-point average while giving up 71 points per game. The Vikings are averaging 57 points per game while allowing an average of 57 points as well. Now, coming up next, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective as we chat with Viking head coach Mark Knoll on Coach's Corner. You're tuned to Viking Pregame in the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 are proud to announce that this spring they will be your viewing home for Eau Claire Cowboys football. Check out www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for times and dates. That's Eau Claire Cowboy football on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
Once again on Coach's Corner, we're talking with Viking Boys head coach Mark Knoll. And coach, back on Friday, the Vikings played a defense-dominated game against the Elmwood Plum City Wolves, where the Vikings came out on top 42-35. What can you tell us about that game?
It was a wild game. You know, I'm not going to lie. I thought we got off to a fast start, and then we got off to the slowest start. So we were off to a fast start that we were up 92 within like 2 minutes of the game. But then before you knew it, we just kind of hit a little bit of a mental wall and scored 4 points in the next 15 minutes, I think, of the first half, and was down 24-13, or something like that, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And, we had a little meeting at halftime, and we're able to get back on track. And
yeah, fly on the wall in that meeting might have come out looking more like a lightning bug with its tail all lit up.
Yeah. So we were able to challenge, our team to playing harder, playing more physical, and not only that, but then executing on the offensive end, not settling for the first shot, and moving the ball around, and trying to get the ball inside. And by doing all of those things, we won the second half 29-11 to win the game 45 or
42-35. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
what it was.
The second half was a whole different game, and you could just see the Vikings gaining, and you were just wondering, when are they finally going to take the? Then they finally did, and basically took control from that point on.
Yeah, we took control with Nick Jensen's 3-point shot that he made.
Those are always exciting when he steps out and does that.
Yeah.
All right, that must come from the big farmer throwing those hay bales or something.
Well, yeah, it does.
Now, tonight, the Vikings are going to step out of the Dunn St. Croix Conference and take on Division II Wausau East Lumberjacks. What can you tell us about the Lumberjacks?
Well, if you were to look at their record, you would think that they're not that strong of a team. I think they're like 7-15, but they're a stronger team than what their record shows. I mean, they play in a really big conference with a lot of Division I schools. And then, they play a plethora of teams when it comes to, all levels. They did play Chippewa Falls McDonald this year and lost by 1 to them. They've played Edgar. They've played, some other D4 teams. But with that said, they've got a young team. They've got some sophomores and juniors that are good for them. They've got a 6'4", 6'5" kid. They're going to be and they're a team, by looking at their scores, they want to score a lot of points. So we're going to have our defensive mindset on again tonight, but we're going to also have to score points to stay with them because they want to score.
And you're right. Don't let that record fool you, because I took a look at their results from this season, and I would say nearly half, if not more, of those games were decided by 4 points or less. And there were some pretty tough schools in there.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be, Wausau West is a good team, and DC Everest, and those teams are all good teams, and they're playing those teams really good. So it's going to be a tough challenge, and I like the fact that Wausau East has come to Colfax. It's probably the first time a size of a school that big has come to Colfax and played. So I like the challenge for our kids. I told them last night at our shoot around, it really doesn't matter the results. I want to go out and compete, and I want to give it our best.
Now, with all that height that the Lumberjacks have on their roster, and when I looked at it, it seems to me they went 6'6", 6'5", 6'1" across the front, and another 6'5" coming off the bench. They appear to be a real good opportunity for the Vikings to get ready for the WIA regionals that start in just a week from tomorrow. Your thoughts about that?
Yeah, that's exactly what we talked to the kids about last night, that this is a tournament type game where it's going to be like playing one of the teams that are seated in the top 3-4 spots in our regional, where they've got some size like that. So it's good for us to get challenged like that and find out what we need to work on leading up to the tournament. So we have this game, and then we have a Glenwood City game to prepare for Blair Taylor. So we're looking forward to all those challenges.
Now, after tonight's game, there is, as you mentioned, only one game left in the Vikings' regular season. Could you take a moment and reflect on the progress that this team has made over the course of this season?
Yeah, I mean, number one, we currently are 11-11, and we've had a handful of games that could have gone, a few possessions gone our way, and we could be sitting here at 16-5, somewhere in that range. And so we're, at the same time, I like the progress that we have made to get to 11-11. And so I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for our kids. I'm thankful that we have good kids that come from good parents that allow us to coach their kids and don't question what we're trying to do with them. That's a huge thing, and that's where you can be successful, is when you have everybody on board, and that's what we have here at Colfax. Everyone on board trying to help us, be the best team that we can be.
The one thing I was really impressed with, it wasn't all that long ago, the Vikings were in a bit of a losing streak, and lesser teams would have pretty much packed things up and called it a season and just kind of gone through the motions. And your boys did not. They played hard throughout, and they've turned it into something that they can hold their heads high, and regardless of what happens the rest of the way, they can be proud of what they've done this year.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, that's something that we've talked about. Obviously, we all currently talk about our record, which is great that we're exactly at 500, 11-11. But bigger than that, and I say it every year, bigger than that is, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, I know when they talk about their teammates, they're going to say that guy was a good guy. That guy was a great teammate. And that's what these kids are really about, is having making it a great atmosphere, team-like. And we challenge each other on certain areas of where we can be a better teammate and person and all those things. And that's a good thing. We want that. That's how you grow as a person, especially as a young person.
And when done right, that's the value of high school athletics, regardless of the sport, is that realization, and it basically makes these students better people.
Yes, and that's what it's all about. That's what we want. That's what you gain through playing the game of basketball, is life skills, life things that make you a better person, and all those things. And I know that the game of basketball has helped these kids become, stronger people in the big picture of things. And, getting back to just our overall, season, all that stuff, that was one of our biggest goals, was to get to 500 this year. So we have 2 games left with a tournament game left, so we want to end the season with a record over 500. So that's a big thing for us that we're trying to accomplish.
Well, Coach Noel, good luck on tonight's game. Hopefully the Vikings can continue to build some momentum for the WIA regionals.
Thank you very much. Go Vikings.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, with a look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame. The Vikings are hoping to get things tuned up in preparation for the upcoming WIAA Regionals, which will get underway in just over a week. On the other hand, the Lumberjacks would like to notch another win prior to their journey into the WIAA Regionals. So the stage is set for some exciting boys high school basketball, and we'll have all the action for you right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV. Now, in just a moment, we'll send it out to Colfax High School, where our broadcast crew is ready to bring you all the action of tonight's boys' game between the Colfax Vikings and the Wausau East Lumberjacks. That's all coming up next. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
Soon the weather will change and you'll be able to breathe in the clean, fresh air of spring. And you know what comes right along with that. That's right, it will be time for Eau Claire Cavalier Baseball. Follow the Cavaliers all season long right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and NLWN TV. Be sure to check out our website at www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for our current broadcast schedule. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame with a look at today's Colfax Viking Boys game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Stay tuned, coming up next is live Colfax Viking basketball. It happens to everyone eventually. Your computer goes on the fritz. Fear not, Sladen's Technology Services can help. When your computer decides to not cooperate, it can be very frustrating. Let Sladen's Technology Services keep you from wanting to drive your computer right off a cliff. Sladen's Technology Services supports business of all sizes. They offer assistance with managed anti-malware, encrypted email, fast tech support, data backup, and recovery, and more. Call Sladen's Technology Services at 715-864-2833 and get the IT help you desire. Sladen's Technology Services is the official IT service for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Colfax Viking basketball is on the air.
Vikings steal the pass. This is Charlo driving down the left side of the lane, puts it up. It goes in and he draws the harm.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 proudly present today's Colfax Viking Boys varsity basketball game.
Down to Jensen and on the right baseline, puts it up and in. This is what you were talking about a couple days ago, Dan. Jensen's got to put those shots up, and he's doing it.
Join us as we head out to the gym for today's Viking basketball.
Good evening and welcome to Colfax for Colfax Viking Boys Basketball tonight. A non-conference matchup against a Division II school. Wausau East has come to town. They are 6th in the Wisconsin Valley Conference, and they play with teams like Merrill, Wausau West, Wisconsin Rapids, that sort of thing. They have 7 wins and 15 losses on the season. The Colfax Viking boys come in here 5th in the Dun St. Croix Conference with a record of 5-8, although again this is a non-conference game, and they are 11-11 on the season. So it should be a good matchup to get ready for the tournaments that are not very far away at all. In fact, the Colfax boys start tournament play 1 week from tomorrow night. They will play Blair Taylor here at Colfax. So we have both teams ready, and shortly we will send it to the floor for starting lineup introductions and tonight's national anthem.
Hats and place your hand over your heart onto the flag as the national anthem is played. boys basketball matchup between the Wausau East Lumberjacks and your Colfax Vikings. Introducing the starters for the Lumberjacks. Number 1, a sophomore, Jaden Garrett. Number 11, a senior, Jack Gilby. Number 24, junior, Jack Barlow. Number 40, a sophomore, Jesse McDevitt. And number 35, a sophomore, Charlie Gilby.
So Wausau East is wearing road red trimmed in black and white. They're moving right to left as we look on opposite the scores table. And the Colfax Vikings are in home white. Of course, going the other way, left to right, with uniforms trimmed in red. A few ventured west from Wausau. Wausau East in the Wisconsin Valley Conference, a mostly Division II conference. Colfax in the Dun St. Croix D4. Jack Charlo going up against Jack Cayley. And the ball is tipped. It goes off the fingertips of a Lumberjack, so Colfax is going to end up with the ball. 2 seconds gone in the first half. So Wausau with a very loud, active defensive front there as the pass goes over to Johnson. Give and go to Ensminger. Ensminger doubled up on quick. He'll flip it back to Irwin. Irwin driving toward the free throw line, gets up to Blake Johnson, then down in the corner to Jack Charlo. He'll dump it off to Jensen. Jensen off the glass, hits the iron, no good. Rebounded by number 11, Jack Cayley, but he is fouled over the back by Ensminger.
It's interesting matchup right away.
Yeah.
6'6" for Jack Cayley against Ensminger, who is 5'9".
Yeah. So quite a bit of height difference there. Ball's fired out on top to Haley, and then underneath the reload by number 1, Jaden Garrett. He's a 5'11" sophomore guard. And East is on the board first, 2-0. Just under 17 minutes left to go in the first half. As Ensminger holds it free throw line right, passes it down in the corner to Irwin. Irwin will bring it out. Wausau in a 2-3 zone. They're trying to get it into Jensen. It's picked off, and ending up with it is Garrett. Garrett was fouled prior to the shot. That's going to be charged to Kyle Irwin.
Yeah, Colfax is going to have to find Charlo and Jensen right away here in the first half.
Bounced in and wide open underneath for Wausau is Jesse Knapgazette. 4-0 Wausau East, 16 and a half minutes to go, first half. Kyle Irwin down along the far side to Blake Johnson. Johnson back to Irwin. Irwin doubled up on in the corner. And from the corner, Charlo goes up for 3, missed, tipped around out there. Jensen scrapping for it, and then coming up with it is Knapgazette. Knapgazette feeds an outlet pass to Cayley, and it's missed, and rebound is pulled out of there by Blake Johnson for the Vikings. Johnson dribbling right to left, then comes back in the center, flips it to Irwin. Irwin down in the corner to Johnson, down underneath. Charlo, and too hard. And he's trying to fight for that rebound. But coming up with it is Jack Barthice for Wausau West. He gets it down to the other end of the floor to Charlie Cayley, who is fouled by Blake Johnson as he goes in there. So we're going to set up a three-point play for the Lumberjacks. Charlie Cayley is a 6'5" sophomore forward. So a young Wausau East team, and there's a timeout on the floor. 15:42 remaining, first half. It is 6-0 Wausau East. You're watching Vikings, Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
If you have a high-deductible health plan, opening a health savings account at Dairy State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DairyStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Charlie Cayley, 6'5", sophomores on the free throw line to finish off a three-point play attempt for the Wausau East Lumberjacks. East leads 6-0 over the Vikings, and the free throw up and good. So Colfax will bring it to the other end, pressure by the Lumberjacks. It's Irwin driving on Nabgazek. He heads toward the hoop, stops on the baseline, doubled up on, and he falls forward. It's going to be a jump ball called, and it's possession, Wausau East. So Jesse Nabgazek is a 6'1" sophomore guard. Jack Barthice is number 24. He's a 6-foot junior guard. Pass goes down in the corner to Charlie Cayley. He'll drive in and put it up with a layup on the left side. That's 9-0 Wausau East. Driving in, it's Irwin. Down, or back to Irwin from Johnson. Johnson up on top. Irwin looking free throw line left. Dribble it a few times, trying to get it inside, and there's a scuffle for the ball. Guys picking each other up, and that foul is going to be charged to the Vikings. That's going against Elijah Ensminger, and that's his second foul. 4 fouls so far for Colfax. The Lumberjacks have not been whistled for any. Jaden Garrett, number 1 for East, is a 5'11" sophomore. And that pretty much rounds out Wausau East starting group. Top of the key, Barthice nails the three-pointer. It's 12-0 Wausau East. Blake Johnson brings it down, fires it out to Fisher. Fisher down in the corner to Johnson, into Jensen. Jensen shot missed, gets his own rebound, ball kicked out of bounds. It goes off Jensen's foot, it looks like, and so East gets it back. About 14 and a half minutes left to go, first half. It's 12-0 Lumberjacks. Garrett give and go at the mid-stripe to Cayley over on the far side, then quickly off to the left. It's Nabgazek driving in, puts in a layup on the left side. 14-0 Wausau East. Irwin, or check that, that's Medine. And we're going to have a foul away from the ball, and that will be the first one, I think, called on Wausau East. That will be charged to number 11, Jack Cayley, 6'6" senior forward. Not a shooting foul, so the Vikings will have it underneath their own basket. 14:09 remaining first half. Wausau East 14, Colfax 0. Out on top, pass goes to Colton Hoffman. Hoffman stops at the free throw line, fires it over to Medine. Medine up, bounces off big, and that is pulled down by Jack Charlo. And then it's taken away by Wausau East down on the far side, Cayley. Cayley up to Nabgazek, and a jump shot underneath attempted. That is going to go, let's see, back to Colfax. And really see a signal, so. Bringing it up the floor, it's Mitch Medine. Medine will bounce it to Fisher. And Fisher for three, the first points of the board for Colfax. And now a three-point attempt by Jesse Napkazek. That goes in with nothing but net. 17-3, Wausau East. Up the floor, it is Medine. Medine stops, gives it to Jensen. Back to Medine. Medine looks at a three-pointer. From the left corner of the lane, goes up, doesn't go. Rebound pulled down by Hoffman. He goes up. Jensen on the reload, and he doesn't get to it. And now it gets back over to Fisher. Fisher goes up with it, and he is fouled on the way up. So Aiden Fisher, 5'11 sophomore for the Vikings, is going to be on the free throw line. That is Wausau East's second foul. That is the first foul charged to Jesse Napgazek. And free throw number one, no good. And the second one is, though. Coming up on 13 minutes remaining. Pass goes to Isaac Rozadowski. Down to Cayley. Cayley down underneath. Braley Pujoda into the ball game now as well. And then Caden Worth pops one up and in from inside the arch. So that's two more for the Lumberjacks. It's 19-4. Medine with the ball. Medine out to Fisher. Fisher up for three. Clears everything. Charlo fires it back to Jensen. Tipped and then up to Medine. Medine for three. 19-7, Wausau East. Napgazek up the floor for Wausau East, then to Worth. Back down in the opposite corner to Brady Brahota. Over on the other side to Isaac Rozadowski. Down underneath Cayley. Cayley trying to go around Charlo, scoops it up there, it's missed. Coming down with a rebound is Brady Brahota, but it's going to be a jump ball with him, and I think it was Colton Hoffman's, and it's going back to the Vikings. 12:08 to go, first half. Major schedule change for the Colfax boys. I believe to try to beat the impending storm, the game that the Vikings have with Glenwood City that was scheduled for Thursday night is going to be tomorrow night here at Colfax, and it'll tip off at 6:15, and we'll have that game for you right here. Medine out to Fisher. Fisher into Jensen. Jensen turns in, and going up with it is Hoffman, and he draws a foul. So the Viking boys will wrap up their regular season tomorrow night instead of Thursday here against Glenwood City. It tips off at 6:15, and we'll have the coverage starting with Viking pregame at about 10 to 6. First free throw is good. And that will be on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV. Colton Hoffman with the second, and that's good. 19-9, Vikings trail Wausau East by 10. And a long pass up the floor. Caden Worth trying to reel it in. He does, gets it into Brahota. Brahota caught too far underneath, going back out to Worth. Worth back to Garrett, and they'll set things up. Garrett to Rozadowski. Back to Roz, top of the key for three. Rolls off, rebounded by Mitch Medine. Medine doubled up on in the backcourt, finds Fisher. Fisher being guarded by Brahota. Drives down to the right side, out to Jensen. He'll take a three-point attempt, bounces off the back iron, rebounded by Rozadowski. He'll fire it up the floor to Dykstra. Dykstra too far behind the backboard, has to toss it out on top, and Caden Worth can't grab that one. It goes out of bounds, back to the Vikings.
Yeah, good defense there by number 42, Nick Jensen for Colfax. Boxed out, helped get the turnover.
11 minutes exactly to go, first half. Wausau East Lumberjacks 19, Colfax Viking Boys 9. Into Nick Jensen, back to Medine up on top. Medine driving the right side. Medine stops up high, gives it to Jensen. He'll bounce it in to Aiden Fisher, who's caught traveling. Eau Claire has a new semi-pro football team. The Eau Claire Cowboys and NLWN 2, along with the Northern Light Webcasting Network, are excited to be your broadcast home. Follow the Cowboys throughout the 2023 season on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2. Wausau passing it around underneath. Brahoda gets it out to Worth. Ball gets loose. It gets to Hoffman. Tap from Charlo, and now that ball is going to go out of bounds, going back to Wausau East. And we have a timeout on the floor called by Wausau East. 10:27 to go, first half, 19-9. Lumberjacks lead the Vikings. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
Are your animals feeling a little under the weather? Give the nice folks at Colfax Animal Hospital a call. Bruce Buckley is just what the doctor ordered. In fact, he is the doctor, and he's ready to help. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Give them a call at 715-962-3380.
When you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it, rest assured, you can still get that meal by going to Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Mom's is open daily, serving breakfast and lunch, and don't forget dinner on Friday nights with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee is always hot, the breakfast is always delicious, and lunch will put a smile on your face and in your stomach. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub.
Welcome back. Jay Fall, Dan Petchow, videographer Chris Olson, and executive producer Rick Olson with you. As the Wausau East Lumberjacks lead the Colfax Vikings 19-9, 10:20 to go. Out on top it goes to Rozazowski. Out to Garrett. Garrett for three, falls short, rebounded by Ensminger. Ensminger to Charlo. Charlo motoring up the floor. Left to right, layup is good. 19-11. Vikings cut Wausau East lead to 8. Into Jason Garrett. Garrett free throw line right now. He's being pressured by Colfax. Out in the far corner to Charlie Cayley. And that ball goes back out to Isaac Rozadowski. And he puts it in. 21-11 Wausau East. 9:40 to go. Ensminger with the ball. Fires to an open Jack Charlo. And he's going to be called for a player control foul. As Isaac Rozwadowski ended up on the floor. East will bring it up. Garrett fires off to the right to Napgasek. Out in the near corner, Jack Barthey's up for three, no good. Rebounded by Jack Cayley and traveling. So Colfax will bring it up. Charlo's going to throw it in to Jensen. Back to Charlo, they'll bring it out of the backcourt. Cross the timeline to Jensen, and he'll hand it to Irwin, and they'll set things up in the front court now. Irwin got that to roll off Jaden Garrett's foot out of bounds. Colfax will keep it and set things up. 9:11 left first half, 21-11. Wausau East out in front of Colfax. Inbounds it goes to Hoffman. Hoffman out to Irwin. Irwin to Ensminger. Ensminger, one-handed pass back to Irwin.
Wausau's doing a little match zone right now.
Ensminger with the ball in the far corner, and I think that went off one of the Lumberjacks. So to throw it in the far corner, it's Irwin. Irwin finds Ensminger up on top, mid-stripe, far side. He'll dribble around a screen set by Jensen. He's going to send it back to Jensen. Then up to Irwin. And to Jensen. Jensen's 16-footer doesn't go. It's rebounded by Charlie Cayley. And its pass is stolen by Kyle Irwin. Irwin out to Charlo. Charlo all the way across, and Ensminger leaps up to grab that pass. He'll dribble it once and fire it to Irwin. Irwin will go in, and Charlo missed it.
Yeah, Wausau East goes big right now. Colfax having a tough time getting inside.
Irwin to throw it in. Doesn't get to Charlo, picked off by Jack Cayley. Cayley is going to, and now we're going to have a foul called on Elijah Ensminger. And the Colfax faithful not pleased with that one. Jaden Garrett's going to throw it in for Wausau East. Again, the remaining regular season game for the Colfax boys, scheduled Thursday night against Glenwood City, is going to be played tomorrow night instead, 6:15. Out on top, wide open for a three-point attempt. Cayley missed, and it goes right into Jensen's hands. Jensen up to Kyle Irwin. Irwin crossing the C in Colfax, or near it. Goes out to Johnson. Johnson to Irwin in the corner. Back and forth, right side. Trying to go across. And Johnson for three. Bangs around, no good. And it is rebounded by number 30. That is Jesse Nebgazek. Stolen by Charlo. Charlo taking it one-on-one. Puts it up, doesn't go in, and it's rebounded by Cayley. Cayley and Charlo, a pretty strong matchup. Nepgazek, then out in the far corner, it goes out to Jack Barthies. Bounces off big, and we're going to have a player control foul away from the ball. That is going to be called on Jack Cayley. That's Cayley's second foul, the fourth team foul of the first half for the Wausau East Lumberjacks. Inbounds throw to Jensen. And Johnson loses the ball. Driving up is Jaden Garrett. Ball gets loose, and coming up with that loose ball is Aiden Fisher for the Vikings. Gets it to Charlo. Charlo is going to bounce it into Jensen. Jensen tried to go up, ball slipped out, now back to Wausau East. That pass may get ahead of him, but Garrett stops it before it goes out of bounds. Garrett's going to go in and draw a shooting foul. 6:38 to go, first half. It's Wausau East 21, Colfax 11. And Jaden Garrett is on the free throw line for the Lumberjacks. First shot, good. Tomorrow night, the Colfax Viking boys will play their final regular season game that was scheduled for Thursday night against Glenwood City. That game moved to tomorrow night with an earlier tip-off time of 6:15. Viking pregame at 5:50. Shot missed and pulled down by Jensen and Charlo. So we'll be bringing you that game, but it is tomorrow night instead of Thursday against Glenwood City. Out in the far corner goes to Charlo. He'll put it up for three. Catches the iron, no good. Tipped, and that is going to Colfax. 6:19 left first half, 22-11. Lumberjacks out in front of the Vikings. Aiden Fisher, three-pointer rolls off, trying to get it as Irwin, and it's picked up by Caden Worth. Worth down underneath, layup missed by Jesse Nepgazek, reloaded back out by Charlie Cayley, and we're going to have a foul called on Wausau East. That is going to go against Jesse Nepgazek. That is his second foul in the fifth of the half for the Lumberjacks. Lumberjacks are going to fill up the court. Medine trying to get it out of there, fires it to Fisher. Fisher out in the corner to Charlo. Charlo for three, doesn't go. Colton Hoffman gets it. He'll fire out to Nick Jensen from the free throw line, swishes it in. 22-13, Wausau East. Nap Gazek stops free throw line right back up on top to Garrett. Over on the left side to Worth, down in the corner, three-point attempt, Barthas, no, rebounded by Mitch Medine. Medine quickly up the floor for the Vikings. Stops on the right side. And we will have a timeout called by Colfax. 5:25 to go, first half, 22 Wausau East, 13 for Colfax. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
To get your lawn or garden to perform like you want, you first need to know about your soil. That's where Midwest Environmental Consultants can help. Their soil testing service can give you a complete rundown on your soil's nutrition and health. They test for nitrogen levels, phosphorus, potash, micronutrients, minerals, pH, and organic matter. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants put you in control of your soil's health. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. That's Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for the Chippewa Valley.
Welcome back to Colfax non-conference action. The Wausau East Lumberjacks of the Wisconsin Valley Conference, a Division II team against the Colfax Vikings. Here at home, it's Medine into Fisher. Back to Medine in the corner. He was caught in the corner, goes over to Charlo. Charlo will drive and put it up on the left side. He'll gather 2 free throws from that.
Yeah, that's what Colfax has to do here. Is Wausau East has gone small now, so Jensen and Charlo should be able to get to the basket.
Charlo's first free throw is good. So the girls' regular season is done. The Viking girls will open tournament play Friday when they host the winner of tomorrow's game between Cumberland and Unity. That game will be carried on Viking TV, and our crew will provide the play-by-play. Garrett to Worth, down inside it goes to Charlie Cayley, misses the shot, and the Vikings will come up with it. Nope, he didn't make that. So it's 9 for the lead. Aiden Fisher into Jensen, back out to Hoffman. Hoffman on the baseline to Jensen. Jensen takes it from three-point land, swish! 24-18, Wausau East. Colfax cuts their lead to 6. Jaden Garrett to Barthice. Down inside it goes to Charlie Cayley, opposite side to Garrett. Garrett for 3. And it's right back to a 9-point Wausau East lead. Medine driving left side. Gets it into Jensen, then out to Fisher. Fisher gonna try to go up. Falls short, and it's rebounded by Charlie Cayley. Cayley up the floor to Worth. Back in the middle to Garrett. Barthice down on the left, doubled up. Loose pass gets out to Garrett. Worth will get it. They go down underneath to Charlie Cayley. And a jump ball called, and it's going to Wausau East anyway on the possession. 3:49 remains in the first half. It's Wausau East 27, Colfax 18. Garrett into Prahota. Prahota up, bounces around, doesn't go. Jack Charlo rebounds it. He'll fire it up to Mitch Medine. Charlo back on the give and go, heads toward the far corner. Fires a pass out to Fisher. Fisher trying to go up against all of those big men, and he fell forward, called for traveling. 3.5 minutes left, first half. Wausau East 27, Colfax 18. Garrett across the timeline, out to Barthes, Charlie Cayley, and it is the pass picked off by Fisher, And we will have a foul called against one of the Lumberjacks. So that is going to send Aiden Fisher to the free throw line. That foul is charged to Brady Prahota. He's a 6'2" junior forward. The boys will open tournament play a week from Tuesday. They'll play Blair Taylor, 7 o'clock here at Colfax. And again, that one on Viking TV, and we'll provide the play-by-play coverage. First free throw good for Aiden Fisher, cuts Wausau East lead to 8. Second one goes up and in. 27-20, Wausau East leads the Colfax Vikings. Jaden Garrett with the ball across the center jump circle for East. A jump pass out to Worth, then back inside to Cayley, to Worth, then down in the near corner to Garrett. Garrett stopped at the free throw line. He'll hand it off to Charlie Cayley. He'll go up, shot blocked, rebounded by the Vikings. Coming up the floor with it is Mitch Medine. Medine has to go around Colton Hoffman. And then to Nick Jensen. Jensen hooks one up there, doesn't go. Ball gets loose. Charlo gets it back. He'll put it up. That's too hard. And driving in for the layup. Going in tough is Aiden Fisher. And we will have a foul on the way up the floor. I think that's going to be called on Charlo. Yep, number 12. 27-22. Wausau East leads. They're on the free throw line. Caden Worth will shoot for the Lumberjacks. Caden Worth. First shot up, bounces around, no good. Rebound by Cayley. And it's scooped back to Barthice. Barthice dumps it inside to Prahota. Prahota goes up and he'll draw a foul for 2 free throws. And Charlie Cayley, the 6'5" sophomore, comes limping out of there a little bit.
Fouls on 34. Colton Hoffman, his first.
That's Colfax's 9th foul as a team. So the next foul for the Vikings will put the Lumberjacks on the line for 2 free throws the rest of this half. First shot does not go. Again, tomorrow night, Colfax boys, their game scheduled against Glenwood City here on Thursday is going to be played tomorrow night, Tuesday instead. 6:15 for the tip-off. Our coverage begins with Viking pregame at 5:50 here on Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV. Second free throw is good. Colfax will bring it up, trailing by 7. That's Irwin. His pass to Fisher tipped, but he'll get it back to Johnson. Johnson will drive in, try to get it to Jensen. The pass is tapped. Napgazek having some ball handling challenges, goes to Cayley. And then down underneath, Blake Johnson picked off the pass, very nice, but his momentum carried him out of bounds. East under their own basket, far side. Goes into Prahota. Prahota out to Napgazek. Napgazek back out to Prahota. Loose ball picked up by the Vikings. Medine ends up with it. Medine for 3. Misses everything, and it was knocked out of bounds, unfortunately, by Aiden Fisher. So East will get it back. 1:55 left in the first half. Wausau East Lumberjacks 28, the Colfax Viking Boys 22. Napgazek caught in the corner of the lane, pops it up, rolls off, rebounded by Aiden Dykstra, and they go out to the far corner to Barthice. He misses the 3. They'll reload back to him, dump it back to Dykstra, and back and forth with them. Dykstra will go up. Shot falls short. They'll give it to Rozadowski. That shot knocked away, and the Vikings come up with it. Going to try to close the gap to 4. Jensen drives in, up off the glass. Good for the layup on the right side. Colfax within 4. Wausau East leads 28-24 with 1:10 to go in the first half. On the far side, Jesse Napgazek goes in. And Aiden Dykstra gets it, and he is fouled on the way in. And I think, I'm just going to guess from the look on the face, that is going to go against Hoffman.
Yeah, it could have gone either way, either Johnson or Hoffman.
First free throw good. A 1:05 remains first half. 29-24, Wausau East leads Colfax. Dykstra up and in for the second free throw. Wausau East lead back to 6. Fisher to Medine. Medine out to Johnson. Johnson out to Medine. And Medine's fouled on the way in, so he's going to go to the free throw line for 2. No, 1 and 1. That is the 8th foul for Wausau East. So Mitch Medine on the free throw line for the Colfax Viking boys. First shot good. No day off for the Viking boys. Tomorrow night they will play the game scheduled on Thursday night against Glenwood City here. Second free throw goes in. Colfax back to within 4. Up the floor, Rosadowski to Barthels. And he tosses up from the corner, hits the rim, and now Jensen with a nice block. That one goes, that doesn't go, and it's rebounded by Mitch Medine. To Blake Johnson. Johnson to Mitch Medine. Medine out to Fisher. Fisher trying to get it into Jensen, stolen away by Rozwadowski. Rozwadowski lets it go, and now it's tipped by Medine, and having to go in the backcourt to get it is worth for Wausau East. Back to Rozwadowski. Tries a three-pointer, missed. And at halftime, the Colfax Viking boys trail Wausau East by a score of 30-26 as they fought their way back into this one. We invite you now to stay tuned for halftime programming. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
Anderson Bridges, located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Vikings.
Let NLWN TV and the Northern Light Webcasting Network take you out to the ballgame. Our next broadcast will be on Sunday, May 21st, when we will bring you the Cavaliers taking on the Tilden Tigers in a doubleheader from Carson Park. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN TV begins with the In the Dugout show at 12:05 p.m. That's live Eau Claire Cavalier baseball on Sunday, May 21st on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Time now for Viking Halftime, with today's Viking profile and other halftime entertainment. That's coming up right after this.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're going to get to know Ashton Greenwell, who's a senior here at Colfax High School. And Ashton, we know that you play basketball, but are you involved in any other activities here at school?
Yes, I play football and I powerlift and I play baseball.
Okay, what do you do in baseball?
I play first base and I pitch.
All right, how's your curveball?
Not very good.
Still working on it, right? Yeah. Work in progress. All right. What's the most important thing that you've learned playing basketball?
Well, I didn't play for my sophomore and junior year because I just did powerlifting, but now I do powerlifting and basketball this year. But when I played my freshman year, it was a lot of leadership and knowing the plays.
Okay, all right. So you have to have it kind of back there so it's automatic, and you don't have time to think about it out there. You just have to react.
Yep.
Okay. So when you're not playing basketball, you're not here at school, what are some other things that keep you interested or occupied?
I hunt a lot and fish. Them are my main ones.
Okay. All right. Couple rapid fire questions for you. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Ice cream.
Favorite flavor?
Rocky Road.
Oh, yeah, lots of good stuff there. Yep. Okay. Favorite color?
Blue.
Is there a reason for that?
No.
Just a nice color, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. If Ashton could have a superpower, what do you think that would be and why?
Super speed, because I'm not fast normally. So,
okay. Yeah. Make up for what you're lacking.
Yeah.
Okay. So now if Ashton has this superpower of speed, of course you have to have a superhero name to go with it. What do you think that might be?
The Green Flash.
The Green Flash. All right. So Ashton Greenwell is the Green Flash. All right. I think we got that. All right. Favorite NBA team?
The Bucks.
They're green too.
Yep.
Okay. And your favorite collegiate team?
Wisconsin.
They're not green.
No.
They are not. All right. Is there a basketball player throughout the years at any level of the game who's kind of inspired the way you play your game?
I usually don't really watch basketball because I'm a football guy, but, you know.
Okay, and that's fine. That's fine. It can be just the game in and of itself. That we're talking with Ashton Greenwell today on Viking Profile. And Ashton, what are your plans for after high school?
I'm not quite sure yet, but I'm thinking about going to like an engineering field after high school. But
okay. How about a shout out to the family?
Hi, Mom and Dad, and Abby and Aaron.
Okay. And when people come to watch Viking games, what number do you wear, and where are they going to find you on the floor?
I wear number 50, and I'm going to be a guard.
Okay. All right. We want to thank Ashton Greenwell for joining us today on Viking Profile. And coming up next, more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
You're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular.
Let's go see your room.
been tuned to Viking Halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Colfax. Our halftime score is Wausau East Lumberjacks 30, the Colfax Vikings 26. And Dan, how did we get there?
Yeah, here's the scores right now for Wausau East. They're led by number 1, Jaden Garrett. He's got 6 points. And then we have Caden Worth with 2, Rozwadowski with 2, Priota with 1, Dykstra with 2, Jack Barthels with 3. We have, that's not a, Jesse Napazak. He's actually our leader. He's got 7 points. And let's see, Charlie Cayley has 7 points also. For the Colfax Vikings, they're led right now by Aiden Fisher. He's got 8 points. Nick Jensen's got 7. Mitch Medin's got 5. Charlo's got 4. And Colton Hoffman has 2. 30-26, Wausau East.
And the Lumberjacks, I think, led by as many as 14 to nothing when things started out. And one theme that Mark Knoll has been talking about throughout the season, especially later in the season, is playing physical. And as the Viking boys did that, they got back into this one.
Yeah, Wausau East came out big right away. It was tough for Nick Jensen and Colfax to get the ball inside. And but good job to stay with it. And here we go, second half.
It's going to be Colfax to start with the ball, and they're moving right to left as we look on here. Inbounds pass goes to Ensminger. Ensminger drives the right side of the lane, goes up off the glass, doesn't go, but Jensen reload, that one goes in. Colfax within 2, it's 30-28, Wausau East. Down along the far side is Napgazek. He'll put a three-pointer up there and tip back out, rebounded by Barthies, and great block by Jensen. He knocked it out of bounds, but he knocked it from going in the hoop. Jack Barthies is going to throw it in for Wausau West underneath the basket on the left side. Back into Garrett, and then Barthies to Garrett. Garrett up. Caught the side of the backboard, and the rebound by Elijah Ensminger. Ensminger in the backcourt for Colfax. Crossing the timeline with it now. Vikings looking to tie things up here. 17 minutes to go in the second half. And Ensminger goes up, fires it to Jensen. Jensen up and in, and we're tied at 30. Wausau East brings the ball up the floor. It's Garrett. Garrett to Rozwadowski, and out in the corner, Barthies catches the three-pointer. It's 33-30, Wausau East, 16:45 to go. Second half. Mitch Medin throws it into Colton Hoffman, back to Medin. Medin driving toward Jensen. And we will have a foul away from the ball. That is going to be called on Wausau East, Jack Barthels, sorry. It's the first foul of the second half, and Barthels' first foul of the game, so Colfax will have it underneath their own basket. Colfax trails by 3. It's 33-30, 16 and a half minutes to go in the first half. Medin looking, tries to get it in, and we will have a timeout called by Colfax. 16:30 to go first half, 33-30 Wausau East. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax has just what you need when you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it. Mom's is open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily and until 9 on Fridays with a complete breakfast menu. Lunch includes sandwiches, salads, wraps, and burgers, along with Mom's comfort food favorites, and don't forget dinner on Fridays with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee always hot, the breakfast always delicious, and lunch puts a smile on your face. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax.
Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining? Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Dr. Bruce Buckley and his staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380.
Colfax underneath their own basket to throw it in. Colton Hoffman looking underneath, finds Medine in the corner. He will drive the lane, pop it up from 10. Shot knocked away and out of bounds. Colfax keeps it. So Medine goes to the K in Vikings and will throw it in from the left side. Medine out to Hoffman. Hoffman from the corner stops, goes up, puts it up and in from 8. Colfax pulls to within 1. It's Wausau East 33, Colfax 32. Jaden Garrett up the floor to Nepgazek, and he'll go in the middle to Cayley. Cayley off on the right side to Jaden Garrett. He'll put it in on the right baseline, and it's 35-32 Wausau East. Just under 16 minutes to go in the second half. Ball goes to Medine to Hoffman. Hoffman in the corner, caught on the baseline, has to go backwards with it and ends up dumping it right to Jack Cayley for the East Lumberjacks. Cayley fires it over to Nabgazek, and we're going to have a foul. Player control foul called on Wausau East, Jack Cayley. That's the second foul of the second half for Wausau East. Colton Hoffman comes out now. Medine inside to Ensminger. Ensminger up the floor, will try to put it in from the left side. Jensen gets the rebound. He'll go up, bounces around and down. Nick Jensen smiling ear to ear as he tossed that up and in.
Jensen has 11.
35-34, Wausau East lead. Now cut to 1. Nabgazek out to Barthels. In the middle to Cayley. And outside in the near corner to Garrett. Garrett will dribble it back into the middle. And we'll have a foul called on Mitch Medine. His first and the Vikings' first of the second half. And being that it is early, it will go out of bounds for the Lumberjacks. And knocked away Medine, and then it gets back to Garrett. Garrett pops it up and in.
Garrett has 10 points.
Medine to Ensminger. Ensminger fires a pass, and it's picked off by Barthels. Barthels too far under. Now that's stolen by Medine of the Vikings. Back up the floor to Fisher. And Colfax will be called for carrying the ball. Goes back to East. 37-34. Wausau East leads Colfax. 14:28 to go, first half. Second half. They have first half on the board. But we are in the second. Driving in on the bottom, Napgazek, who took about 3 steps underneath there. Medine looking to throw it in, gets it into Charlo. And that pass tipped, and it goes back to Rozadowski. And then it's picked off by Irwin. And now we have a foul. I think that's going to be called on 30. That's Jesse Nebgazek. That is his 4th foul. Vikings will throw it in. Underneath the east basket, it goes to Jensen. Jensen out of the backcourt, gets it to Medine. Medine across the timeline to Ensminger. Ensminger near half court, driving toward the top of the lane, loses the ball. Rozadowski picks it up. He's heading toward the basket, lays it up and in. East now leads by 5, 39-34. Bounce pass down to Ensminger. Ensminger stops, pops it up. That doesn't go. Jensen trying to get it, and it's rebounded by Jaden Garrett. Garrett, scoop pass out on the right side to Rozadowski. Rozadowski goes up and in, and that basket's going to count. He's fouled on the way in, and I think that's going against Jensen. Yep, his first. The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV are excited to once again be your home for Eau Claire Cavalier baseball. Follow the Cavaliers throughout the 2023 season on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Free throw missed, and it's rebounded by Fisher. Fisher quickly up the floor to Ensminger, layup off the baseline. 41-36, Colfax trailing by 5 to Wausau East, 13:15 to go. Second half, pass goes out to Garrett. Garrett flips it back into Cayley, then outside to Worth. Worth up and in for 2. 13 minutes remaining second half. It's Medine. Medine out to Fisher, and ball gets loose. Goes out of bounds into the hallway. They send it back. Wausau East is going to bring it up.
Yeah, Colfax has to make sure when they're in transition to slow it down a little bit and get set.
Rozadowski into Cayley. Down in the near corner. Three-pointer missed. Rebounded by Ensminger. Ensminger taking it right away from Roz for East. And Ensminger out to Medine. Medine has it stolen away from him by Caden Worth. Worth rolling it up the floor, gets the ball to Charlie Cayley, who throws it up over the top, and we're going to have a foul underneath as Jaden Garrett tried to put it up. And they will say he is fouled by Colton Hoffman. That is his 3rd. 2 free throws then for Jaden Garrett. Looking at the first one, up. No good. Don't forget, tomorrow night, the Colfax Viking Boys will host Glenwood City here at Colfax tomorrow night. It tips at 6:15. That's the game scheduled for Thursday night. It's going to be tomorrow night instead. Second free throw missed. Charlo comes up with a loose ball and gets it inside to Ensminger. Ensminger, layup and good. 43-38, Colfax back to within 5. Charlie Cayley with the ball will scoop it up and lay it in on the left side. And Cayley is out there playing, limping. Fisher dribbling around his back. Gets it out to Ensminger. Ensminger up to the top of the key. Give and go to Medine. Medine for 3. Back iron, no. Ball tipped, and that is going off of Wausau East. Going back to Colfax. 45-38. Vikings in, it goes to Hoffman, misses the shot, rebounded by Charlie Cayley. Both on the floor. That is going to be called on Jack Charlo. That's Jack's 3rd foul. So Ensminger, Charlo, and Hoffman carrying 3 fouls. And 4 points apiece. Caden Worth in to Charlie Cayley. Near side Bartholz, and then going back inside to Caden Worth. And we're going to have a foul called underneath on Colton Hoffman.
Yeah, that'll be his fourth.
Fourth, yep. Nick Jensen's is getting ready to check back in for the Vikings. 2 free throws for Caden Worth. First one. Bounces around a bit and goes in. 46-38, Wausau East. 11 and a half minutes to go, second half. Second one missed, rebounded by Aiden Fisher. Fisher across the timeline to Medine. Medine up high, dribbling into the center. Goes to the free throw line, out to Fisher. Fisher goes up, layup for 2. 46-40, Wausau East leads Colfax, 11-11 goes second half.
Aiden Fisher has 10 points.
Jaden Garrett between the jump circle and the key, being watched by Ensminger and Irwin. He'll fire it into Cayley. Cayley at the free throw line, dishes it out in the corner to Worth. Worth for 3, goes over the top. Charlo trying to get it, and instead, Brady Prohoda follows it out of bounds, and we are going to have a couple of substitutions here. Kyle Irwin will come in for Mitch Medine. Irwin into Fisher, back to Irwin. Irwin along the timeline, back to Fisher. Fisher down underneath Charlo. Charlo goes up off the glass for 2. Colfax pulls back to within 4. It's 46-42. Wausau East, 10:35 to go, second half. Jaden Garrett out to Caden Worth. Down inside to Prohoda. Prohoda to Wazowski. Ball gets loose, and there to get it is Aiden Fisher. Fisher up the floor, going up off the glass, missed, rebounded by Charlie Cayley. Cayley for East throws it to Rozwadowski. Out to Garrett. Worth out to Prohoda. Back to Rozwadowski. And a timeout called. 9:58 to go, second half. 46-42, Wausau East. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
If you have a high-deductible health plan, opening a health savings account at Dairy State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DairyStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to Colfax. We're in the second half, 9:58 to go. East to throw the ball in, Worth. Worth to Garrett. Garrett back out of the right side to Worth. Over at Prohoda. Prohoda open, Garrett in the far corner, drives in, misses the shot, ball tipped around. Coming up with a loose ball, Aiden Fisher for the Vikings. He gets it out to Kyle Irwin. Irwin give and go to Ensminger. Ensminger up from 12. Good! Colfax to within 2. 46-44. 9:25 to go. Second half. Worth out on the far side into Cayley. And it's stolen away by Charlo. Charlo to Ensminger. Ensminger makes a move. Goes up, and he's going to be called for a player control foul. So Wausau East will take it over on the foul. That is the 6th foul for Colfax in the second half. There are 3 for Wausau East. And it goes to Jaden Garrett. Garrett across the timeline goes out to Worth. Back in the corner out to Cayley. Left open Garrett for three. Catches the iron, and falling backwards with the ball is Aiden Fisher. And a foul is going to be charged to Brady Prohoda. He's a 6'2 junior. Nope, they're going to change their mind. Well, the scoreboard did anyways. 0, Caden Worth. Into Jensen to Irwin. Irwin doubled up on. They runs into some more press, gets it to Fisher, and back in the middle to Irwin. Irwin give and go to Charlo. Charlo going in, turn around up from 8, ball knocked away and out of bounds. 8:38 remaining, second half, 46-44. Wausau East just out in front of Colfax. And throw it in, Irwin. Irwin finds Medine. Medine up at the top of the key, give and go to Charlo. Give and go to Irwin. Back out to Medine for three. Tickles some net, and that's about it. Prohoda will come up with a loose ball. And Medine gets it back on the Wausau East end. Medine doubled up on, and we will have a foul called. That foul is going to be charged to Brady Prohoda. That is his second. .806 to go, second half. 46-44, Wausau East. Pass knocked away. East comes up with it, and then they fire it up the floor to Nepkazek. He'll get it out to Jack Cayley. Cayley will dump it to Garrett. Garrett out to Nepkazek. And we will have a basket by Wausau East and a foul. The basket is by Jack Cayley. The foul is on Aiden Fisher. That's Aiden's first. The three-point play bangs around a little bit and goes in. 49-44, Wausau East, 7:48 to go, second half, sorry. Across the timeline, Irwin. Irwin driving, goes up off the glass too hard, but rebounded by Charlo. He'll put it up. That one doesn't go as well. Coming out of there with a rebound is Wausau East, Jack Cayley, who ended up traveling. Irwin's going to throw it in under the Colfax basket, left side, 7:33 remaining, second half. Into Charlo. Charlo up from 8, around and in and out. Wausau East back up the floor. Cayley to Barthels. Down underneath to Prohoda. Prohoda goes up, and a foul is going to be called on Jack Charlo.
Yeah, that'll be his fourth. Yeah, so Coach now has to figure out what he wants to do here. His two bigs are in foul trouble.
Brady Prohoda, first free throw, bounces around and out, no good. Tomorrow night, Colfax boys host Glenwood City here at Colfax. Tip-off at 6:15. That is the game scheduled for Thursday, being played tomorrow night instead. Well, you can watch it right here. Second free throw goes in. It's 50-44 Wausau East. Caught in the backcourt, Irwin. Irwin across the timeline. Fires to Medine. Then down inside to Jensen. Jensen up, a little hook shot, doesn't go. Trying to get the rebound, trying to pull it out of there, and he's going to be called for a foul.
Yeah, Colfax got the look they wanted there, getting it into Nick Jensen, but just wouldn't fall.
That is only the second foul on Jensen, but that's the 9th team foul on Colfax. in the second half. So that's going to put Wausau East in a double bonus the next foul here. Shot missed, but the rebound goes out to Jesse Nabgazek, and he draws a foul. So we're going right back to the free throw line for 2, as I just talked about. That foul is going to be charged to Mitch Medine. That's only his second, but that's the 10th foul. So 2 free throws are going to be awarded to Jesse Nabgazek. And the first free throw good. Colfax Viking girls start playoff action Friday night. They will play either Cumberland or Unity. That game will be carried on Viking TV, and our crew will provide the play-by-play, so hope you can tune in for that. Nabgazek's second free throw bounces around and out. Jensen comes up with a rebound. He'll get it to Medine. Medine crossing the 10-second line, fires it to Fisher. Fisher up for 3, catches the rim, no good. Jensen can't quite get to the rebound. Wausau East will bring it back up. It'll be Jaden Garrett. Garrett to Nabgazek, and he's tapping it away. Charlo comes up with a loose ball and the tap from Medine and going for the layup. Oh, and there is a foul there as Kaylee ended up on top of Ensminger for that layup. That is the 4th foul for Jack Kaylee. So Wausau East is going to come back to fill the spots along the side of the lane here. Elijah Ensminger getting 2 free throws. 51-44 Wausau East, 6:23 to go in the second half. First shot up and in. Viking boys host Glenwood City here tomorrow night, 6:15. That's the game that was scheduled for Thursday. Trying to get it in ahead of the brunt of a potential winter storm. That one missed, rebounded by Jack Cayley. That tips off at 6:15. Viking pregame 5:50 right here on NLWN 2, Northern Light Webcasting Network and Viking TV. Pass goes out to the far corner. 3-pointer rolls around and out by Barthels, but then they get it back inside. That one doesn't go. Jensen gets it over to Medine or Fisher down underneath to Ensminger. Ensminger off the window, doesn't go. And the ball rebounded by Wausau East, Jaden Garrett. Up the floor it goes to Brady Prohoda, and he'll put in a layup on the baseline. Timeout on the floor, 5:48 remaining second half. Wausau East 53, Colfax 45. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN 2 and Viking TV.
If you've been admiring the freshly groomed look of a baseball field, or the stunning appearance of a golf course, remember you too can have along with the same beauty by simply calling Midwest Environmental Consultants. Their professional lawn care experts can bring your lawn to its full beauty and appearance. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants help make your lawn the showplace of the neighborhood.
Let NLWN 2 and the Northern Light Webcasting Network bring you some tough semi-pro gridiron action. Our next broadcast will be on Saturday, May 6th, when we will bring you the Eau Claire Cowboys taking on the Rock River Rampage from Janesville, Wisconsin. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN 2 begins with Cowboy Kickoff at 3:35 p.m. That's live Eau Claire Cowboy football on Saturday, May 6th on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
5:48 remaining, second half. Wausau East 53, Colfax 45. Vikings bring it in. Jensen into Medine. Medine doubled up on, dumps it off to Ensminger. Ensminger up the floor to Charlo. Charlo going to drive in off the glass and puts it in, and he is fouled by Jack Cayley. And that, I think, is, nope, that's going to go against Jack Barthels. That is his second. So Jack Charlo to attempt a three-point play here. 53-47 Wausau East. 5:35 remaining in the second. And nothing but net on that one. Wausau East getting some full court pressure. Up the floor it goes to Prahoda, or check that, that's Napgazek. Napgazek puts in a three-pointer. And the Vikings down by 8. Pass goes to Jensen. Up the floor to Ensminger. Ensminger right to left layup missed. And it's rebounded by Brady Prahoda. He'll get it up the floor to Jack Cayley. Cayley will put a layup in on the right side. Vikings down by 10, 58-48. Up the floor it goes to Fisher. Fisher out to Ensminger. Ensminger for three! 58-51 Wausau East. 4:50 remaining second half. Jaden Garrett goes to Jack Cayley out in the corner to Barthels. To Napgazek, down underneath Cayley, left open on the right side. And we have a timeout called this time by Colfax. 4:38 to go, second half. Wausau East 60, Colfax 51. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
Join us on NLWN2 for exciting Colfax High School Boys Basketball.
This is what we came in for!
Our next game will be on Thursday, February 23rd when the Vikings play host to the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN2 begins with Viking pregame at 6:50 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 on Thursday, February 23rd. Soon the weather will change and you'll be able to breathe in the clean fresh air of spring. And you know what comes right along with that. That's right, it will be time for Eau Claire Cavalier Baseball. Follow the Cavaliers all season long right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and NLWN TV. Be sure to check out our website at www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for our current broadcast schedule.
Colfax Vikings with the ball. Into Jensen to Medine. Back to Jensen, into Ensminger. Ensminger out to Charlo. Charlo goes up and puts a layup in on the right side. 60-53, Vikings down by 7 up the floor, trying to get it as Napgazek. The ball gets tapped. He maintains control, pops it up from 14 and puts it in. 62-53, Wausau East. Charlo with the ball. Long pass down to Ensminger, and he ends up tipping it back into Jack Barthels for East. Garrett into Barthels, out to Cayley. Back to Barthels, up top to Garrett. Garrett, give it go to Napgazek. Napgazek out to the mid-stripe to Barthels, back up on the other side. Wausau East with a 9-point lead, and Wausau East content to just eat up some time. Now that pass knocked away, and Aiden Fisher comes up with it for Colfax. He goes up. Jack Cayley with a block that went onto his arm. Medine's going to throw it in. Ball went out of bounds off of him. And we're going to have a 5-second violation on Colfax. 3:28 remaining second half. Ball quickly passed up the floor to Barthels, over to Prahoda. Prahoda out to Napgazek. Napgazek looping around, and we're going to have a foul called on Mitch Medine. That's Mitchell's third foul. Colfax trails by 9. They play the Glenwood City Hilltoppers tomorrow night instead of Thursday. 6:15 tip-off as well. Coverage starts with Viking pregame about 5:50. First free throw rolls out. Viking girls start tournament play Friday night. They'll play the Cumberland Unity winner here at Colfax. That game on Viking TV. Our crew will have the play-by-play of that. Napkazak's second one is good. Wausau East back up by 10 at 63-53. 3:15 remains. Ball still going back to Colfax. Bounced into Medine. Looks at a baseball pass, and he'll toss it to Aiden Fisher instead. Fisher to Medine. Medine, free throw line right. Give and go out to Fisher. Fisher drives up and in. Fisher for a bucket, 63-55.
Aiden Fisher's got 12 points.
Rozadowski up to Cayley. Back up to Roz, over to Nabgazek. Out in the far corner, we're going to have a travel as Charlie Cayley went up for a shot, went up and came back down without the shot. That's traveling. Baseball pass goes to Ensminger. From Medine, Ensminger up, misses it, rebounded by Worth. Worth tripled up on underneath. Charlo gets the rebound, can't get it back up there. Now it's pulled off by Cayley. 2.5 minutes remaining in the ball game. Napgazek out to Cayley. Cayley to Nepkazek, and a timeout called by Wausau East. 2:21 to go, second half. East 63, Colfax 55. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
STEM is everywhere, like here, behind the scenes of The Walking Dead.
When we break down clothes, we tumble it with sodium phosphate, rock salt, and dish detergent.
We stitched together images of our model and created a 3D set that can be walked through in a VR headset.
We're able to turn 12 walkers into 1,000 walker boards.
STEM can create new worlds on and off the screen. What will you make with STEM? Get inspired at SheCanSTEM.com.
Jay Fall, Dan Petchow, videographer Chris Olson, and executive producer Rick Olson with you from Colfax. Non-conference game, 2:21 left in it. Wausau East leads Colfax 63-55. Goes into Jack Cayley. Cayley into Charlie Cayley, and the loose ball picked up by Ensminger, going one-on-one up, and that shot blocked out of bounds. Colfax will get it underneath their own basket. 2:12 left in the second. Jaden Garrett's going to check in to replace Jack Cayley. Medine into Charlo. Charlo goes up. And we're going to have a player control foul on Jack Charlo. And that is it for him tonight. That's foul number 5. Came out of there very frustrated. So they'll get some time to replace him. It's going to be Kyle Irwin going in for him. 2:09 remaining, second half. Wausau East 63. Colfax 55. Jaden Garrett out to Nepkazek. Rolls it down to Charlie Cayley. Cayley doubled up. He'll get it out to Jaden Garrett. Garrett out to Worth. Worth to Nepkazek. Nepkazek doubled up on, and Wausau East is just going to move this around on the outside. Be very patient for a good shot in. Fired out to Rozadowski, and then on the left side out to Charlie Cayley, who will put in the hoop.
Cayley has 11 points.
And Ensminger tosses a shot up top of the backboard, doesn't go in. Wausau East will get it, fires out to Rozadowski. Rozadowski goes up, Jensen blocks the shot, and Ensminger drives in. Ensminger goes up, puts it in, and draws a foul. Foul's going to be charged to Jaden Garrett. And that is his first foul. So on the free throw line is Elijah Ensminger, 5'9" junior for the Colfax Vikings. And Jaden Garrett, sophomore, trying to negotiate his way out of that. Ain't going to happen. Free throw doesn't go, rebounded by Charlie Cayley. And Medine tries to steal that pass. It goes out of bounds. Or should I say, it isn't going to happen. That's better grammar. There we go. Caden Worth tosses it in right in bounds to Napgazek. Napgazek out to Jaden Garrett. Garrett fouled on the way in by Kyle Irwin. 1:02 remains in this ball game. 65 for Wausau East, 57 for Colfax. Jaden Garrett's first free throw up and in. Colfax boys start tournament action next week. They'll play Blair Taylor a week from tomorrow night here at Colfax. And the second free throw goes in as well. That one will also be covered on Viking TV. And we'll have the play-by-play for that. Trying to save that from going out of bounds was Fisher. He was not successful. East is going to keep it on their end with exactly 1 minute left in tonight's game. 67-57 Wausau East. In it goes to Charlie Cayley. Cayley out to Rozwadowski. To Nepgazek. And Nepgazek, or Worth I should say, is fouled by Kyle Irwin. That's Irwin's third foul. Irwin yet to get on the board tonight. Caden Worth for Wausau East puts in free throw number 1, and that's 6 points for him. Checking out, probably for the final time, Charlie Cayley. And second one, good as well. Just under 52 seconds left in the ball game. Jensen to Ensminger. Ensminger flies up the court. Ensminger, turnaround jumper up from 12, doesn't go. Ball gets loose, rebounded by Rozwadowski. And he stepped on the end line. Colfax will keep it on their end with 40.2 seconds remaining in the second half. Irwin slaps it once. Irwin bounces it into Medine. Medine out to Ensminger. Ensminger, free throw line right. Fouled on the way in by Isaac Rozwadowski. That is his first foul. 32.3 seconds left to go in the ball game. 69-57, Wausau East with a 12-point lead over Colfax. Second free throw, or the free throw, does not go. Wausau East will get it out of there. Jaden Garrett, no big hurry. He'll toss it down to Nepkazek. He'll go cross court to Caden Worth. 19 seconds left. He'll bounce it over to Rozwadowski. Out to Nabgazek. 13 seconds left. In the corner to Dykstra. And Wausau East going to pass the ball to Jaden Garrett. And both teams let time expire. Tonight's final score, the Wausau East Lumberjacks defeat the Colfax Vikings by a score of 69-57. So Wausau East will go up to 8-15 on the season, while Colfax falls to 11-12. We invite you to stay tuned for our post-game wrap-up. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for Colfax Boys Basketball. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Postgame, where we'll take a look back at today's Colfax Viking Boys game.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Time now for Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. And now, Viking Postgame.
Welcome back to Colfax. Tonight, the Vikings fall short to Wausau East Lumberjacks 69-57. Wausau East got out to a 14-0 lead, but the Vikings would still not give up. They stayed in there and got as close as 2. So the score 69-57. Dan, how did we get there?
Yeah, here's the scores tonight for Wausau East. They're led by number 30, Jesse Knapp Gazette with 14. We had Jaden Garrett with 12. We had Charlie Cayley with 11. We had Jack Barthels with 6. Aiden Dykstra with 2. Brady Prihoda Jack Cayley had 7. Braley had 4. Isaac Wadowski, he had 6. And Caden Worth had 7. For the Vikings, they were led tonight by number 42, Nick Jensen. He had 13 points, followed by Aiden Fisher and Elijah Sminger with 12. We had Jack Charlo with 11. We had Mitch Medine with 5. And we had Colton Hoffman with 4 points.
So yeah, when they played physical and that sort of thing, they hung right in there with them tonight.
Yeah, you know, Colfax a little trouble in the first half getting it inside, and they made those adjustments and started to get some scoring. Maybe a few extra turnovers in the second half that didn't help. Missing a few free throws, but here's Coach Knoll.
Mark Knoll joins us, and Mark, last time we talked, you talked about your team fighting back in there. I mean, you got down big early, but they hung in there and would not quit and kept fighting and kept being physical.
Yeah, I mean, this was the most physical game we've had all year. It was unbelievable, right? But with that said, starting down 14-0, we weren't used to someone that was throwing a lot of different defenses at us. You know, they threw a box on one, they threw a zone, they threw man, they threw a 3-2, they threw a 1-3-1 at us. You know, so that really makes you have to adjust in a hurry. And as we adjusted throughout the game and just kind of calmed down and had to pick up our intent, it's hard to be calm when I'm asking for you to be intense too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But at the same time, I am proud of the kids because they battled hard. I mean, they gave it their all. And we had a lot of shots that were on the rim that we just couldn't get to fall down for us. And they're a big team. I mean, they got some great size. They got some depth to their team. Tomorrow night, they play Spash, who's like the 5th biggest high school in the state of Wisconsin in their conference. you know, and we play Glenwood, you know. I mean, that's crazy that you know, to battle with them. It was, I believe it was tied with like 5 minutes left, something like that. So we battled back, you know, and through some adversity too, because we had Elijah in foul trouble, we had Jack in foul trouble, we had Hoffman in foul trouble. Okay, so, and then it doesn't help when I'm yelling at everybody too, so.
Well, you know, sometimes it's got to be done, but you know, again, they kept battling, they kept being physical, they kept on the game.
One thing I told the boys, like, you take that team is every bit as good as Elk Mound, Durand, Fall Creek, all those teams, you know, teams that we're going to have to play. You know, we won't play Elk Mountain, obviously, in the regionals, but Durand, Fall Creek, we will. That team is just as good as those teams because they're big and long, and then with the defense and how physical it was, that's a good team we played tonight. You know, if they were a D4 team, they would be one of the better teams.
Oh yeah. So to avoid the storm tomorrow night, I guess, or for Thursday night, you go right back into it tomorrow to wrap up the regular season.
Right. We're going to honor our seniors. We have 5 of them, so we're going to honor those 5 seniors. And look forward to, you know, honoring those kids because those are really good kids. You know, I'm not thinking about the future, but you have to a little bit. I'm sad to think that they're not going to be a part of us in the future because they're just great, great, great kids, and they come from great families. So very proud of them, and we get to honor them tomorrow, which will be fun.
And what do you expect as far as Glenwood City?
Glenwood City is going to come in and just be super aggressive. They're going to be physical, and they have nothing to lose. So they're going to come in, and we're going to get their best effort, which I expect nothing more than that.
Okay, Mark, thanks for coming up and talking with us, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow night.
Thanks. Appreciate you guys.
All right, you're welcome.
Go Vikings.
All right. Mark Knoll, head coach of the Colfax Vikings, as they fall short tonight, 69-57 to Wausau East, and they will play Glenwood City tomorrow night, 6:15. So it's a different tip-off time. It's a different night, trying to get it in ahead of the storm, and it sounds like Wausau East has the same thing going when they get to play Spash, and that's going to be that'll be a tough one for them. Tonight's Colfax High School basketball game is brought to you by the Colfax Animal Hospital. At Dr. Buckley and his friendly staff take care of your pet. Dairy State Bank, where they're banking on relationships. Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for the Chippewa Valley. Anderson Bridges, who have been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. Slayton's Technology, IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Comfort Food, the way Mom used to make it. And Fit Fam Nutrition of Colfax, with drinks that taste as good as their names sound. Plus, they're healthy. Be sure to thank these fine sponsors by stopping in and doing some business with them soon. So tomorrow night, Colfax boys, Glenwood City, 6:15. Tune in here for the Vikings as it starts with Viking pregame at 5:50. For executive producer Rick Olson, videographer Chris Olson, and Dan Petshaw, I'm Jay Fall. Thanks a lot for joining us. Good night. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN 2, and Viking TV.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games by tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.